Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this regularly scheduled meeting of the Lake County School Board here on this Monday, September 11th, 2023. Before we rise for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance today, we're going to do something a little bit special, a little bit different. Thinking back in the significance of this day, perhaps in the moment of silence today, I invite you to reflect on that in whichever way that you feel is most appropriate for you and the impact and that it's had on our country, all the victims that suffered that day, September 11th, and the days following, and also all the heroes who came to the rescue for our country back then and still today. Following that moment of silence, we'll have a special presentation of the colors today by the Mount Dora High School Junior Air Force ROTC program, led by Commander Scott. Strawn, proud principal, thank you for coming out here, as well as Major Scott as well. Thank you for bringing your folks out here for this special moment for us today. So with that, let us all please rise for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Harry, Olive, Mike, Ace, Over, Art.
Thank you. You all may be seated. A little later in our agenda tonight, we'll have a special video presentation as well, offering remembrance of September 11th. But till we get to that, we'll start off with our agenda. Superintendent, do you have any changes, amendments, additions, or deletions to it tonight?
We do have a few. The agenda was revised September 7th to add item 4.02 and delete item 10.04. With the chairman's permission for just cause, a revised HR personnel list was added today to item 9.01, and the board has a copy of that.
Excellent, very well, good. Board members, do you have any items that you'd like to pull for separate consideration tonight?
No, sir.
All right, not seeing any of those, then let's go ahead and approve some minutes. Superintendent?
All right, we recommend approval of the minutes from the regular school board meeting August 28th, 2023.
All right, there's a recommendation from the superintendent with a motion by Bill and a second by Tyler. Any questions or comments? Not seeing any, let's put it to a vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That is unanimously 5-0. And then we'll move into our representation items tonight, the first one being a proclamation for Attendance Awareness Month. So Mr. Flowers coming forward. Welcome.
Thank you. As it is September, and September is Attendance Awareness Month, I will read the following proclamation. Whereas the nation is experiencing a school absenteeism crisis, and whereas chronic absence defined as missing 10% or more of school alerts schools, community, partners, and families that one or more positive conditions for learning are not in place. And whereas reducing chronic absence requires taking a comprehensive approach that starts with the prevention and early intervention, and whereas improving attendance and engagement takes schools, families, elected leaders, and other community partners working together to identify and address barriers to being in school. And whereas showing up for school is an opportunity for students to build routines that can create a sense of safety and belonging, increase engagement, and develop trusting relationships with peers teachers, and school staff that increase engagement and motivate them to participate in learning. And whereas promoting attendance requires noticing as soon as possible when students are starting to miss too much school in order to engage students and families, identify and offer needed support and early intervention resources. And whereas ensuring an equal opportunity to learn requires using data to detect high levels of absenteeism and missed opportunities to learn by school, grade, and student population. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Lake County Schools stands with the nation and recognized in September as Attendance Awareness Month. We hereby commit to focusing on reducing absenteeism and addressing the factors that cause students to miss school in order to ensure all children an opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive. In testimony whereof, the School Board of Lake County, Florida, has hereunto subscribed their names and have caused the official seal of the Lake County School Board to be hereunto fixed on the 11th day of September 2023. A copy of the proclamation is hereby placed in the archive record of this board.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Superintendent, do you have a recommendation for us on that?
I do. I recommend adoption of the proclamation for Attendance Awareness Month.
Excellent.
So moved.
There's a motion by Bill and a second by Stephanie. Any questions or comments before we vote on that one? Not seeing any. Let's vote. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Unanimous. And now we'll move into our video presentation in remembrance of September 11th.
Good evening, Superintendent, Chairman Dodd, board members. Today, schools statewide observed what Florida is calling 9/11 Heroes Day, with instructions on topics involving the history and the significance of September 11th, 2001. Students today were not yet born when our nation faced the terrorist attacks on 9/11, making somber reminders of these events increasingly important. The bravery shown in the face of evil that day is an inspiration for generations to come. Today and last Friday, we were honored to visit a few schools as they held ceremonies and thanked first responders for the selfless heroism they show every day. We also interviewed Lake County Schools employee Dennis Diaz, formerly of the New York Police Department. Listen as he shares some of his firsthand experience from September 11th, 2001.
We would never expect something like this to happen on U.S. soil. I was 38 years old back that day when I responded to the Brooklyn Bridge to assist in helping all those that were sick and that were hurt. I carried them over my shoulders, one on my shoulder, one on my left arm. Back and forth, we had a hospital set up in the bridge. We try to get them to safety as much as we can, besides all the deceased bodies that were on the floor as well. It was terrible. I did this for 12 long hours that day. It was nonstop. That day, your blood is adrenaline. You just want to do your job, help, try to save as much lives as you can. It hit me like maybe a week later, after things were more calm and I was home. I did lose friends from lung cancer due to the World Trade Center. People running out, we were running in. Firemen, police officers, all agencies, all type of law enforcement, all medical, everything. All hands came together to save all these lives, many lives. But we lost a lot of lives too. They're brave enough, see one of the videos, and that will bring everything to them of what took place. They can see the videos and they can see all the sacrifices that we did. That will bring a lot to their minds. The pictures that you're gonna see are the day after 9/11, September 12th, when we had to do a search and rescue and look to see if we see any more live or deceased bodies. It was terrible, terrible, but we did it. Everybody got together and we came as a group and divided ourselves among certain areas, and we did searching for over 12 hours.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright
Wow, thank you. And, I guess this is one of those moments that goes down in history for those who had a chance to experience it. This is that I'll never forget where I was moment. I always would hear my teachers talk about, I don't know, the JFK assassination. You always remembered where you were, and I just had no concept to be able to grasp that moment until I had a chance to experience one in my own personal life. And now thinking about these students they were not even born when it happened, to think about how you properly convey that. So, well done. That looked like a fantastically well done event. So thank you all for putting that together for us to get a glimpse of what that looked like. I don't have any public input cards here tonight, so with that, we can move straight into our reports. And our first one comes from the Education Foundation.
Thank you, Chairman, school board members, superintendent. Apple Mart has had 212 teacher visits, and we have distributed $32,640 worth of supplies. We received a $419,000 grant, biggest ever, for our structured classroom project. This was a piloted project at Lake Hills last year in 13 classrooms. And the grant should equip and train 147 self-contained ESE classrooms and teachers. So we are very excited about that. We are also receiving a $70,000 grant for the New Worlds Reading Initiative. To earn that money, we'll be hosting 8 different parent-child or community events between now and June. We also received $10,000 from Duke for a county-wide scrimmage in October, as well as the registration fees for our teams that make it to Worlds. The platform for Take Stock in Children Scholarship application opened on August the 1st, and we're making presentations at all our middle schools to get all of our 8th graders that are eligible to apply. We have a campus tour planned on October 5th to UCF and Lake Tech for our Take Stock in Children juniors and seniors. And the Take Stock in Children Spelling Bee is September 21st. We have 20 teams, and Publix is the presenting sponsor. The Foundation Golf Tournament is October the 13th, and we've got 2 more teams before we're at a sellout. Presenting sponsors, Hanson K. Jacobson Foundation, VMG Mechanical, and Electric Services, Inc. Renfield auditions were held at Southlake High School on August 19th. We have the largest cast ever. We had to cut it off at 145 drama students. We have the most vendors ever. We had 58 last year. Right now, we're at 77, and we've already sold almost $15,000 in advance tickets. The culinary chefs from Umatilla High School, Leesburg High School, Southlake High School, and Lake Minneola High School, as well as Lake Tech, are on board to cook every single turkey leg, and last year that was $154,000 worth. And we're also looking for volunteers, and the sign-up sheet is at www.lakerenfair.com. Our next board meeting is on September 27th, and it is a strategic planning session from 9 to 1 at Venetian Center. Are there any questions, comments?
I don't see any. That's great.
Thank
This
you.
report, as always, thank you. Mr. Myers, we'll turn to you for our attorney report.
Yep, just one thing. I know we talked about this a while ago, about the social media litigation potential of joining that against all the social media companies for algorithms that may or may not be causing mental health crises in schools. I just want to get your thoughts. So some boards have found it helpful to have the firms that may be handling this come in and do a presentation to the board. Do you all want to have that done, or do you simply want me to bring a recommendation as to which firm I think we should consider?
Can you, so there's, say it again.
Some boards have found it helpful for some of the firms that are under consideration to come in and actually give you a presentation as to what the suit entails, what the participation requirements would be on behalf of the district, and so on and so forth. Do you have any?
I'd be interested in that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, all
Are there
right.
any, do they have any costs associated with that presentation yet?
No,
Okay.
no. And then,
All right.
all right.
probably tell us the cost associated with the presentations during the presentation.
Well, my understanding too is there's no cost to join the litigation either. I mean, it would just
There'd
be
be no
a
cost to
little bit of time on behalf of staff, but in terms of attorney's fees, there wouldn't be no fees. It'd be more of a contingency type arrangement with the firm, but I'll make some arrangements and see if I can get some dates for presentations at a regular board meeting if that works. Okay, all right.
Thank you. All right, consent agenda, please.
I recommend approval of consent agenda items 8.01 to 10.04.
All right, there's the recommendation from the superintendent with a motion by Bill,
Second.
second by Tyler. Any questions or comments on the consent agenda before we vote on it? All right, not seeing any. Let's put it to a vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It's 5-0. We have one discussion item, and it's because it involves some travel for one of our school board members.
Yeah, so I'm still making notes. So Mrs. Cunningham is scheduled to be out of the county at a FSBA, Policy Governance and Bargaining One-on-One Forum. Because the cost exceeds $500 by statute, the public has a right to speak to this item before the board votes. So is there anyone here who would like to come forward and speak to this item? I'm seeing none. I feel it's appropriate to make a recommendation.
I recommend approval of item 11.01, that is travel requests for Ms. Cunningham.
So moved.
Tyler and a second by Stephanie. Any questions or comments before we vote? All right, well, I'll just throw one out there. I see it's in Gainesville, so make sure you wear your orange and blue.
Absolutely.
Go Gators. Practice the chomp before you, okay. All right, let's put it to a vote. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. It's 5-0. And with that, we'll move into our closing reports tonight. Superintendent, will you start us off, please?
We have no letters of condolence, just a few items of interest. First of all, as you know, we continue to expand and enhance our career and technical education programs. Last year, we had 4,000 more industry certifications taken and passed. It was a 129% increase. And so I reflect upon that as we look at this year and the things already happening, and I'm probably stealing a little bit of Mr. Brandenburg's thunder, because I know he was with me at our first groundbreaking ceremony of our construction academy, which was Leesburg's on last Friday. We have 2 more groundbreaking ceremonies with the construction academies with Eustis. Southlake is on Wednesday and Eustis is on Friday. And those are always great events as we celebrate these amazing things happening in our academies. That's one that we know has over about 600 students district-wide that are participating in our construction academies. Leesburg has 350 students currently enrolled and 80 on a waiting list. So these programs, to Ms. Ellis and her team, you guys are just doing an amazing job with our schools. And all the community partners that support these programs. That's just one example as we see our other programs thriving as well. So we're just super proud of those and just wanted to highlight and say thank you to all of those that are making these great learning opportunities for our students, as well as helping to meet the workforce demands of our community as well. Also want to congratulate Rosemary Palarno. She's the music teacher at Villages Elementary School, and she has been named the National Chair for the American ORF Schoolwork Association's Professional Development Conference planned in November 2024, and so she'll be representing all of Lake County as well as all music teachers across the nation at this national conference as the chair this year, so that's super exciting. And also on Saturday, my Student Government Association held their first conference of the year. Remember, they came and did kind of a summary for you at the end of last school year, where they decided it made more sense to do it at the start of the school year. So it was on Saturday. We had about 175 students that were at Tavares High School all day on Saturday, and it was just a great day of them learning together, sharing ideas. Of course, the Ed Foundation sponsored lunch again for them, and I really just want to thank Richard Stokes. He is the SGA sponsor and teacher at Tavares High School. He was tremendous in helping the students plan the event, and was just instrumental in making it a reality for these students. So I want to say thank you to Mr. Stokes and all our SGA sponsors who are all there on Saturday, giving of their time to support our students. Our first SGA visit with our new chair will be here at our next board meeting. They'll give you a summary, and I think some of the others want to come as well, just to be a part of the first meeting of this group. So they'll be here with us at our next board meeting, so we'll welcome them. And also just want to say thank you again to the Education Foundation and Red Apples Media. They have sponsored the Ride On program. It is a bicycle safety program for kindergarten students in 3 of our schools, and hopefully something that will expand into all of our schools. But they have 24 bikes and helmets, and the PE teachers at those schools have undergone training in how to teach kindergartners how to ride a bike and to do so safely. And so you'll see a video soon coming out that highlights that program. And again, it's just an example of how our community sponsors come together to do great things for our kids. So I want to say thank you to Red Apples as well. And that's all I have tonight.
I'm good.
All right. Tyler, anything?
A couple quick ones. Yeah, on the groundbreaking for Leesburg High School, that was our 5th house so far, and looking forward to building 5 more, 10 more, 15 more. So it's always special to be out there and see those kids. This one did not have the family at yet, but just to see those kids in the community come out to support it is always a special morning. Also had the opportunity to attend a learning walk last week at the Villages Elementary with the Region 2 team and Mr. Feltner. It was really interesting for me to get in those classrooms. I went through kindergarten and first grade with Rob and Renee, and really just get to see the lesson plans, the continuity and what's going on and all that we're doing to common plan and really help our kids get that same experience in every classroom. So that was helpful to me. Shout out to Mr. Dudley and his team at the Villages for doing a great job. That was my elementary school, so it was fun to be back there on campus and get to walk through those classes. And then also on Friday, got to attend the League of Cities luncheon, where our very own Diane gave the presentation and the update on Lake County schools. And it's always nice to see that room of leaders throughout the county really understand and appreciate all the work that our senior leadership team is doing at the district, all of our teachers, all of our staff, all of our students, really to keep Lake moving in the right direction and all the great things that are coming ahead. So I always appreciate getting to hear the superintendent speak and support her on those opportunities. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
How about you, Stephanie?
I just wanted to say thank you to Mrs. Myers and her team at Lake Hills. I got to spend some time with them out there and see the structured classroom. I know that Carmen spoke about it earlier in the grant that she just received. It's amazing work. I know that it's not often we see a national or a response to something that seems to be unresponsive, and their staff is amazing in the work that they do with those students, and now that they're offering a solution to our students as well, and our teachers as well, it's pretty amazing. And the patience and it's just a really amazing place to be. So she spent her morning with me, and I appreciated it, and that's all I have.
Thank you very much.
Just have one thing. Mr. Brandenburg and I attended via Zoom or Teams the Central Florida School Board Coalition meeting this morning, and they discussed some upcoming events. And Mrs. Cornegie, one that they discussed, I think, is something you'll find very interesting. At one of the, I don't know if it's the October meeting. Do you remember? They're going to have young people, students, be a part of the presentation. So I thought that would be a wonderful opportunity for our young people perhaps to have a chance to present and let other districts know what wonderful things we got going on with our young leaders here in Lake County. It's Abby Sanchez.
Is that who I need to reach out to?
Yes.
Okay, I will absolutely do that.
In Abby in Seminole. Mm-hmm. I also just want to thank Mrs. Owens and her team for that wonderful video. It's always nice when you have remembrance, because it says, you know, if you don't remember what happened, you're doomed to have it present itself again in the future. So it's nice to look back and to see how we as a nation came together. And on those, although it was a terrible event, that's one time in our history when we were all as one, we were on one accord. So that's such a significant and powerful thing to have happen. And I guess, Chairman Dodd, that's all I have.
All right. Thank you very much for those comments tonight. And I would just like to once again express my gratitude to the Air Force Junior ROTC program for coming out to present the colors tonight, and you, Ms. Owens, for the fantastic video that you and team have produced. And I just have one other bit of thanks as well. I see Dwayne Weeks there in the back, and probably hard at work on something focus related back there. But I'd just like to thank you and the entire IT team, you know, that I've had the privilege of just, I guess, tracking along on this, and Dwayne and I have had an opportunity to call and speak a couple of times every week, and I just appreciate how much information you've been able to provide and share as how the program and the process is going, the transition. You know, anytime you go from one big major system to another, you know, it's bound to have its fair share of hiccups, and you know, some of the comments I've seen through social media hone in on those little hiccups or those fine-tuned details that I know that you all are working out. But I think that, you know, one of the drawbacks of some of the commentary is that there hasn't been a lot of praise or celebration for how smoothly this transition has been occurring. That's, Bill, I think you were here for the Skyward transition. How'd that go?
It was terrible.
Yeah. So I mean, this transition has just been going so smoothly, despite the just here and there. So big kudos to you and your team for all the work that you've poured into this. It's just been exemplary work, and I know you all are tired, and I hope you all get an opportunity to take some rest now and again to rejuvenate. But this board member says thank you, and I'm sure everybody else does as well. Any objection to adjourning? All right, not seeing any. We are adjourned. Thank you. Have a great night.